can call me Mystic Mike because I predict these things.
Erik Silva takes on Francis Marshall this Saturday at UFC Fight Night, Mexico City. And Erik Silva making his return to the UFC. He's been out for a little over 2 years. Last fought Muhammad Naimov back in February of 2024. Had a weird leg injury where Naimov landed like a spinning kick on him. And he stepped back and his foot landed like right where the cage and the mat meet. And something popped and he was injured. I couldn't find any information on exactly what the injury was, but being out 2 years, I imagine it was, probably like an ACL, maybe an Achilles tear. Maybe it wasn't something that bad. He'd just been taking time off. But making his return to the cage, 38 years old, 2-fight losing streak, been out of the UFC for 2 years, and taking on a guy in Francis Marshall, who's very young in his career, but has decent experience, 8-3, only 26 years old. This will be his 6th UFC fight too. So it doesn't bode very well for Erik Silva, who I have to admit, he's better than I thought that he was. Watching some of his fights, the Muhammad Naimov fight, but I think TJ Brown knocked him down and just kind of out-grappled him en route to getting that third round arm triangle choke. So he's shown a decent ability on the ground, obviously. His 4 fights in the Lux Fight League all ended by rear naked choke. One of these guys was like 19-6, 13-5, but then you got 6-6, 8-3. So not the best level of competition, but he's having some success in the grappling. He's only like a jiu-jitsu blue belt, which you would think he'd be a little bit better given the submission success that he's had, but he has lost by rear naked choke. And TJ Brown did show him levels in the grappling. TJ Brown, a black belt himself, who's able to just kind of pass guard, maintain dominant position, and eventually find the arm triangle choke. So Erik Silva, really, he's more of a karate guy. Grew up in like a karate school that his dad ran. Comes from a point karate background. He's a 4th degree Kempo karate black belt. And with that, has powerful, tricky right hand, explosive strikes where he's kind of like lunging in. Good leg kicks, likes to kind of keep his hands at his sides and throw him from the hip, which can be sneaky at times and catch guys throwing and landing at weird angles. And he's explosive, he's aggressive, he's got power in his hands, and like I alluded to earlier, he's got decent grappling. He's got 80% takedown accuracy in the UFC. Granted, it's only 4 takedowns that he's secured, but he will shoot takedowns. He can mix it up, and I just don't think he's going to have what it takes to beat somebody like Francis Marshall, though. I've been a big fan of Francis Marshall. I picked against him in his last fight against Myron Santos, and I think that he was, highway robbery in that one. Knocked him down in round 1. I think the second round he might have lost, but the third round he won, and he lost that fight by split decision. Should have won it. Had a split decision win over Dennis Bazooka. I think Dennis Bazooka is underrated as well. I think both these guys are very similar, very well-rounded, have a lot of potential. Lost to Isaac Dolgarian, who's just a monster on the mat. Got ground and pound. Got taken down one time, couldn't get back up, and then had a split decision to William Gomez, who's a decent striker. So I like Francis Marshall in this one. I like his youth. I like his well-roundedness. I think he's got a good chin. He's got powerful leg kicks. Got power in the hands, obviously. He knocked down Myron Santos. Was getting his legs beat up a little bit in that fight, too. The first round wasn't really going his way, but he was able to land that big shot, control the round, and really kind of turned it around on somebody like Myron Santos, who is very highly touted. He was a plus 220 underdog in that as well. So I'm going to go with Francis Marshall. I like his hands. I like his boxing. He had some crispy combinations against Dennis Bazooka. I think it was round 1, dropped him, almost got him out of there, but kudos to Bazooka for surviving. But Francis Marshall, gotten takedowns in all of his fights outside of the Bulgarian fight. Started doing jiu-jitsu when he was like 13, and then eventually obviously switched over to MMA when he was like 14, 15 years old. Started to wrestle his junior year in high school to kind of just improve his overall skill set, and ended up like qualifying for the state championships, and was like a regional champion, district champion. So no slouch with the grappling. He mixes it up with his striking very well, and I think that he's just a little bit more put together than Erik Silva, who can be sloppy at times. I feel like he kind of lunges in, gets kind of off balance, just isn't the cleanest guy in the world, and I feel like he leaves a lot of opportunities on the ground as well for people to take advantage of. Doesn't keep his hips heavy when he's on top of guys, allows himself to get reversed, just finds kind of ways to lose positions, especially in the TJ Brown fight. He just kept giving TJ Brown opportunities to advance position, to reverse position, and I feel like he's just not going to be able to do that against somebody like Francis Marshall, who is very complete. He's been out for almost a year too, 26 years old, going to be making rapid improvements. He was at Kurt Pellegrino's school up in the Northeast, but now he's down at some fight club in South Florida though now. So getting some different looks, mixing things up. And I look back through Erik Silva's career, fought some decent guys, like the guy that he beat on Dana White's Contender Series was 3-0 at the time, now 5-6. Edgar Cabello was 19-6, now 20-10. So, again, not fighting the most top tier guys, losing to, you know, a guy who was 0-0 on the regional scene as well. Lost to TJ Brown, who's good, who's tough, he can grapple, but he's 20-12. Had some, you know, decent wins in the UFC, but was eventually cut. And then Muhammad Imov obviously took that hit to the head and then blew out his leg. So coming off of an injury, 38 years old, taking on this young up-and-comer who's got a lot of potential, not going to have a size advantage either. They're going to be the same height. And Francis Marshall's going to have an inch reach advantage. So I'm going to go with Francis Marshall. I think that he can beat up Erik Silva, get him out of there, beat up his leg, use those leg kicks that he's got, beat up his leg, eventually start to take over, mix in his grappling. We saw Erik Silva kind of start to fade against TJ Brown, and I think that Francis Marshall will get this one done as the fight progresses, and maybe get like a ground and pound TKO over Erik Silva. Be landing better shots on the feet, mixing up the grappling, getting him to the ground, eventually getting him into a position where he can't get out of. Hunt for submissions, but more than likely I can see him finding a TKO or a rear naked choke. He's also got a lot of rear naked chokes on his record. So I'm going to go with Francis Marshall. Get this one done by ground and pound TKO, round 2. Thanks.